First selfie ever, video selfie. I've taken some still selfies, but first video selfie ever. Headed to Southern California to work for a few days down there. It's going to be in the mid-70s, which I can handle that just fine. It's really early. It's 5 a.m. and everybody else in the airport looks half asleep except for me, because normally this is when I'm headed to work anyway, so getting up at 2:30, 3:30 is not that hard for me to do. It always amuses me that people get to the airport and feel like they have to curl up on a couch and take a nap. It's like, I'm not sure I'd do that, because it's like, who else has had their cheek laying on that cushion, you know? So no mask today at the airport, although I may wear one on the plane. Haven't made that decision yet. So that's why this video is going to be a day late, being delayed because I wanted to get in some selfie practice, and in case I decide to get a whim and do a travel video, this is good practice for me. So I'll talk to you all a little bit later. So some of the things I think about while I'm sitting on the airplane, because I always sit in row F, right over the wing. Did they tighten all the bolts? Is there gas in the plane? Are those guys on the ground? What's their job? I just hope that the plane is put together. You know what I mean? I didn't put it together, so who knows? Got my trusty Osprey backpack. No, they are not a sponsor, but this is my daily carry, and I love this thing. So made it to Santa Ana, California. This is John Wayne Airport. Really like this little airport. It's got everything. It's easy to get around. The lines at security aren't very long. This is where most people go when they go to Disneyland. It's just a really nice little airport. The Uber waiting area is very efficient. Usually you have to wait between 10-15 minutes for an Uber. So yeah, pretty decent place. So driving along in my automobile. Well, it's not mine. It's actually Rick's. It's his Toyota Camry, damn it. It's not a Camry, it's a Camry. So Rick had a 4.9 rating with Uber, and if you don't think that matters, stay tuned towards the end of the video. Anyway, we had a nice relaxing drive down the 5 corridor, and then over to 605 or 405, I don't know, I lose track. Hi folks, welcome to episode 3 of The World According to Eric and Gracie. This segment is a little different because Gracie is not with me. Gracie is back at home, and I am working from Southern California this week, at least part of the week. I do get to go home tomorrow. So episode 3, yes, I made it to California. The weather has been great. It's been mid-70s, not hot yet. It's supposed to be hot this weekend in the 90s, but I'll be back in cool Western Washington before that happens. So I'm going to call this Studio C, because if Studio A is my living room at home and Studio B is the dining room at home, then it makes sense that Studio C should be California, because it starts with a C. So that's pretty good. That's why the setting looks a little more office-like, because it's not really a house, it's an office. I'm just down here taking care of some business for a couple of days. I'll be back home probably tomorrow, as long as Alaska Airline pilots don't go on strike and leave me stranded down here. I will get a train or a bus or some other way to get home. But I am not going to get stuck here, trust me on that. So I have a new appreciation for people that do travel videos. There's a lot involved, there's a lot to think about. There's some things, if you watch the earlier segments of this video and haven't turned it off by now, I mean, there's the going to the airport part, there's the sitting and waiting for the plane part, there's the sitting in the plane waiting to take off part, there's the actual flight part, there's the landing at the airport, there's getting the Uber to your destination. However I get to the destination, I usually take an Uber because it's way cheaper than renting a car down here, especially right now with the price of gas. Anyway, the weather here has been great, sunny, warm, but not hot, so I appreciate that. I did grow up in the heat, but it's been quite a while now since I've lived in the heat, so this is really great. I have noticed since I've been sitting here that I've got these 2 lamps behind me, and it reminded me, for some reason, the song by John Denver, Sunshine on My Shoulders, popped into my head. Now, I have learned and know most of his songs back in the 70s and into the early 80s. They are some of my favorite songs. One thing about John Denver, his voice was extremely high, and I cannot sing in his range. Either have to transpose it or put the capo up high enough on the guitar so that I can sing lower, if that makes sense. But the man had an incredible voice, incredible range. Sunshine on My Shoulders was written actually when he was in Minnesota, and he was just coming out of winter, and it wasn't quite spring yet, and there was still a lot of slush on the ground, and he was really wanting to feel the sun. And so this song is really that simple. Sunshine on My Shoulders makes me happy. It's like, can you get any easier than that? The song actually did go to number 1 in the U.S. for a week on the country charts, and it stayed there for a solid week. It's a good, solid song. So these 2 lamps behind me, it's part of Studio C. I turned it on to warm up the lighting a little bit in here, and I think it works out. So that is really the brief of the music portion of this week's show. And like I said, this show is going to change and morph into I don't know what, but I'm still having fun, even though I'm going to be a couple of days late getting this video posted because just the travel coordination and whatnot. I'll have some new features on this video I'm going to try to incorporate, and hopefully the introduction where it showed me actually traveling down here will kind of make sense to you. I need to watch more travel videos to get the idea of how they do it, because frankly I don't know. I don't normally watch travel videos. I just don't. They don't interest me that much. So I think if you're going somewhere, then I think it's interesting if you can document that, and I'm going to learn how to document that because I do go several places, and my wife and I, we do travel. So I think it would be kind of fun to incorporate that. And for those people, obviously travel videos are huge on YouTube. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people doing them. So maybe there's something to it, and maybe I'll gain an appreciation for them as I watch them. So in the meantime, I've got Sunshine on My Shoulders, although I got to tell you, this is actually my right shoulder, and I'm still getting used to the fact that things are backwards on recording a video. Like when I keep trying to get my hat straight and it goes the opposite way, and that confuses me for a minute, but it could be just because I'm old. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to conclude. This is going to be a long enough video with the other clips I'm going to add in and stuff. So I look forward to having you folks along for episode 4, hopefully in a week. And if you have an opportunity and you're not subscribed, if you're not actually part of my family, you can subscribe and you can like this video, and it'll help me just keep moving forward. I'm going to keep going anyway because it's free at this point, so it doesn't really cost me anything. I've got everything I need to do these videos, so it's just entertainment on my part. And certainly when I'm staying down here in Southern California by myself, I've got plenty of time in the evening. I will talk to you next week sometime, and I hope you have a enjoyable rest of the week, and hopefully the pilots don't go on strike and I'll actually get home tomorrow when I'm supposed to get home. On the way to the airport in the Uber, the guy had a 4.7 rating. You'd think it was close enough to a 5 that it would have been okay, but the guy was all over the place, swerving in and out of traffic. Missed the turn into the airport, circled twice. I had to show him how to get to the airport, but I did make it. Had a good flight, landed on time. I honestly didn't know what a jet bridge was until we needed it to get off the plane, and it was broke. They wouldn't let me fix it, so we drove around for about 40 minutes looking for a new one. Finally found one, located it, got off the plane. People were a little impatient, but I was fine. I was just really happy to be home. It was a good trip all in all. Hey folks, made it home from California just fine, back here in Studio A, and obviously Gracie got in the picture, and she's squirming around. If you don't rub her belly, and within a few seconds she gets a little antsy and twists and turns until you rub her belly, and then she's good for a few seconds, and then if you quit, she does it again. Yeah, that's pretty dramatic there, Gracie. Plus, I think the people can see right up your nose. No, you're good. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Hope you have a good rest of the week.